Thank you, Chris, and thank you, delegates, for attending and hearing the Toro story. Yes, the title of our presentation is "The Best Is Yet to Come," because with our project, we still haven't worked out the optimal version financially, so it's exciting to be undertaking that work in a very strong uranium market with rising uranium prices. So what does Toro have? Toro has a portfolio of uranium assets in Western Australia. Its flagship project is the Wiluna Uranium Project, 700 kilometres northeast of Perth. The Wiluna Uranium Project is comprised of 3 deposits: Lakeway, Centipede, Millipede and Lake Maitland. It is an environmentally permitted project with 62.7 million pounds of uranium, so it's undergone the rigours of that environmental assessment. And as I just said, we've spent the last 7 years since we obtained the permit, just before there was a change of government. There was a need to obtain a permit before the policy changed. We think we can do this project much better and deliver significantly better financial returns. We also are in the Yandal region, so gold prospectivity is high with all the gold production up there. And we were also the first public company, we think, to intersect massive nickel or semi-massive nickel sulfides. And we've got some ore grade results on ground that we thought was prospective for uranium. Turns out it's likely to host significant nickel. We also have 28.2 million pounds across 3 uranium exploration projects in Western Australia. So we have 90 million pounds of U3O8 in total. And we also have 68 million pounds of vanadium. So with 90 million pounds of U3O8, we have a market cap of around 50 million, so there is significant upside. The fact that we're in Western Australia is the biggest drag on our valuation. If we were in South Australia, if we could shift the border slightly, the line, if we were in South Australia, we're in Canada, we're in Africa, we would have a market cap of at least 5 times where we are here today. In fact, we could be up to 10 times where we are here today. But the mere fact that we're in a jurisdiction that does not have a supportive uranium government policy, well, not yet anyway, and it's only ideology, there's nothing systemic or fundamental, it's simply a temporary, transient ideology, was last permitted in 2017. We think that is when that changes, and we think there's big momentum for change, and we're hearing real positive things from government unofficially. We think that Toro will just burst out of the blocks when that happens. We have a very experienced uranium board and management with over 2 decades of experience through myself, Richard Patrizio, Michelle Murrier and Dr. Greg Shurtleff. There's decades of uranium experience. We haven't just come into this game, we've been doing it for a very, very long time. As I said, we have a significant uranium inventory, 62.7 million pounds in Wiluna. We also have a joint venture arrangement with Japanese parties only at Lake Maitland. And because Lake Maitland was the most amenable to some optimisation on our flow sheet over the last 7 years, we decided to do a scoping study for Lake Maitland only on a $70 uranium price and a 70-cent US Aussie exchange rate, and we were able to achieve an NPV of 610 million. For Lake Maitland alone, remember Wiluna is 3 deposits, and on just one of them, we've got an NPV of 610 million. And there's more uranium resource in the other 2 deposits combined than there is at Lake Maitland. So when you think about our market cap of $50 million, we've got a NPV of 610 before tax based on a 70, not 80 or $90, $70 US uranium price. The upside is huge. We recently restated our resources at 2 of our deposits at 100 ppm to be more in line with what our uranium peers are doing. And again, 8 million more pounds of uranium, which at $100 a pound is what, $800 million more uranium? And also around 8 million pounds more of vanadium. Vanadium is a pure byproduct. It doesn't make or break the project. It's cream on the cake and makes some very significant contribution to CapEx. So it comes out with the uranium. We're very happy to take it and sell it. We are going to pursue production at our project, notwithstanding that the government policy is not favourable for us at the moment. It's only a matter of time. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when, right? So we're very confident in our work. At the moment, the pilot plant work to trial the metallurgical processing flow sheet that we developed over the last 7 years, the new and improved one, that's going to lead to these windfall gains on our project. We're very confident that this pilot program will be successful. I won't labour on the uranium market. You've heard plenty in the last panel session to suggest uranium is going to almost double from here, the uranium price. And again, we did our NPV on $70, not the current spot price of low 90s, $70. That's a map of our project. Lake Maitland, as I said, has Japanese joint venture partners that basically have an option to acquire 35% by writing a cheque to us for $39.6 million US dollars. That's only on Lake Maitland, but given the bifurcation in the uranium supply market, where Western supply now is going to be at a premium to Eastern supply, we think we're very well positioned to attract not only joint venture partners for our other projects if we so want them for financing, but we think that our Japanese partners, which is a syndicate of nuclear power companies out of Japan, plus Hitachi, the well-known reputable global trading house, would be very interested in Wiluna as a whole. The research and development work we did was best. We yielded the best results at Lake Maitland. Previously at Lake Maitland, which is the map of the red and green you see there, we were only going to mine the red, but as a result of our work, the costs have come right down, which has meant we can mine both the red and the green. We've got an exponential increase in the amount of pay dirt there, like hundreds of millions of dollars. The mine life goes up to 17.5 years. And did I mention it? This is only just one of 3. So when you look at Toro, you've got to look at that the work we've done and the NPV that we've delivered is only on 1 of 3 deposits. And the NPV is going to be recalculated at Lake Maitland. It's going to be exponentially bigger than what the number we published is, given the rise in prices and given that the exchange rate hasn't really moved much. We think when we give you a republished number for Lake Maitland, it's going to be massive, and massive after tax. For a $50 million market cap company, this is insane, right? Like, there is so much upside, and we've got so much news to deliver in the short term and in the medium term and in the long term with our pilot plant. We're also going to look at doing work. We're also currently doing that work to see what mining material or what materials we can bring down from Lake Way and Centipede Millipede and process at a Lake Maitland operation. If the permitted project, so the permit was for a processing plant at Centipede, we believe that the processing plant should be at Lake Maitland and Lake Maitland should go first. So not only do we need to amend our environmental permit for the time condition, which has lapsed on one of those conditions, the permit is still valid. We just need to make a retrospective amendment, but we know this current government will give us grief, so we need not ask, but there will be substantial amendments required. So the current permit that we have needs to be substantially recut so that we can deliver hundreds of millions, not tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars more value to our shareholders. We improved the flow sheet. I won't labour on it. Lower capex, $189 million US dollars, including a 20% contingency. So that includes a contingency of 20%. I know some of my friends in the room don't like to quote contingency, but we do, to be conservative. And there's a 15% EPCM in there as well. So basically, the project is going to be a smaller project because of the beneficiation and the filtration steps from the flow sheet that I kind of glossed over. We can achieve great savings on reagent use, on power consumption and labour. And that has resulted in massive OPEX and CAPEX savings from that originally thought about 10 years ago under previous management at Toro. And furthermore, our all-in sustaining cost over the life of project is a very low $28 US per pound of U3O8, and that's just at Lake Maitland. All of the improvements at Lake Maitland we think will work at Lakeway and Centipede Millipede, maybe not quite to the same degree as Lake Maitland, but it will work and it will deliver improvements. So the value drivers for this company, whether you're a current shareholder or a potential investor looking to invest, just understand the value drivers coming up are transformational. This company is so undervalued because we're parked in a jurisdiction with the government, as my peer said previously, with its head in the sand, but they're slowly taking their head out of the sand, I can assure you. We also have great nickel hits. We're getting all-grade nickel hits on our ground that we peg for uranium. We didn't go looking for projects. We drilled the ones we had. We thought we'd find gold, maybe nickel. We found nickel. We also, and you'll see, 9 metres at 2%. Nickel is fantastic. We've got some very encouraging gold results. The likelihood is we will announce soon that we will demerge the nickel and gold assets out of Toro. So if you're a Toro shareholder, you're going to get free shares in a base and precious metals company. So that's something to look forward to. So like I said, there's plenty of news flow coming up. The best version of Wiluna is yet to come. We're working out what is going to be the most financially feasible project we can deliver. It's not the one we've permitted. It's going to be something different. It's going to be the same deposits, but done differently. Plus, we're going to get a license to get the vanadium out. With the new processing flow sheet, the vanadium leaches out beautifully. We don't go chasing it. It just comes with the uranium. So we're very much looking forward to delivering news flow, particularly against the backdrop of rising uranium prices, strengthening global uranium markets with no real handbrake on the price. That can be forecast. So we're going to do recut of Lake Maitland. We're going to evaluate whole of Wiluna, see what materials from Lakeway Centipede can be brought down to Lake Maitland and be processed there. The government in WA, officially it's got a stance of not supporting uranium, but when uranium was $19 a pound, or $40 a pound even, saying no to uranium had no consequence because nothing was going to develop. Now it's going to be almost impossible for a government to resist making some really ignorant comments about uranium. They have to be very specific as to why they don't want this industry to get off the ground that will deliver billions of dollars. With the nickel industry really suffering in WA at the moment, with an opposition now that has come out strongly saying that if they take power, they will reinstate uranium mining. We also have a statement from the Premier here from 3 months ago where he says that the benefits of WA helping other economies decarbonise at the expense of WA's or Australia's is a valid thing to do. So as we know, uranium and nuclear, the only reason uranium price is going up is because of the demand for nuclear energy, and you saw from COP how many countries committed to tripling nuclear. You know, he's given you a statement right there that uranium falls perfectly within the ideology of helping the world decarbonise at the expense of Australia decarbonising. We don't need to be a nuclear nation. Toro's success and prosperity, its share price going to $5, $3, $1, whatever price you want, is not dependent on Australia being a nuclear nation. As long as other economies in the world want nuclear, then Toro can play a role in delivering uranium from a reliable and secure source to fuel those reactors and the energy needs of other countries in particularly in a climate where net zero by 2050 is what the world has signed up to. Uranium is here to stay, Toro Energy is here to stay, and thank you very much for your attendance today.